what it do, Division 2 agents? This your boy Trey Day 381 coming at you with another video. Yeah, so I have a serious question to ask everybody. And this is, I'm gonna try to make it as brief as I possibly can, but covers a lot. But I'm gonna try to make it real short. At least, try to keep it under 15 minutes. But, so my question to you all is, you know, over the years, there have been a bunch of metas, like the 311.7, the P416, the Eagle Bear, the Carbine 7, the Pestilence, now it's the Capacitor, Lady Death, Bonk Bill, uh, now it's the Bighorn, right? So with that in mind, so let's start with one, why I started streaming. I started, doing a YouTube channel. So I reached out to a content creator a while back. It was about a year and a half ago, asking a question about the chameleon. If you know the chameleon, it used to be 75 body shots increases your weapon damage by 90%. And for some odd reason, my math was coming up with not 90%, but 62%. And I was like, I reached out to this particular content creator. He goes by the name of Nothing But Skills. Y'all know who he is. He's a pretty consistent, pretty knowledgeable YouTuber, and I thought that he'd be a good resource to ask this question to see if I can get an answer. So I DM'd him in his Facebook page, and he never responded. So I was like, cool. I can't be the only one that has these type of questions. So I decided, why not just go ahead and create myself a channel and see if I can get a response to it, and while at the same time, maybe cover some stuff that I'm not the only one who has questions on these things about. And, you know, that was the birth of my channel, and overall I've gotten positive reviews, so you get the trolls, you get the negative responses, somebody who has something to say just because you're doing it, and it is what it is, something you got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is. So, but I'm asking this because as a content creator, we're putting out all this information, right? These things that we consider relevant, and I'm noticing this eruption in what's called the meta. Like right now, it's the capacitor with the or the bighorn, and I started realizing that, you know what's his name, Identity. He was covering the capacitor for years, and people were calling him crazy. But now, is he actually crazy? Because the capacitor is a meta now. This whole 4 and 5 skill tier has taken over. Why am I still? I'm right up on him. But this whole thing is taken over, along with you know, like the 4 skill tier with the capacitor. People are starting to rock it now, and they're saying like it's overpowered. Because you get the skill tier and you get the weapon damage from the capacitor. But when Identity was covering it, people were calling him crazy. But now, is he so crazy? I mean, it's pretty strong. Um, then there's the Bighorn meta right now. If you don't remember, or if you haven't seen it, there's a guy by the name of Off Constantly. Regardless of whatever beef, if you like him or not, or who he's beefing with, or what the content is, he was covering the Bighorn literally like a year and a half ago, and people were coming out with spreadsheets about how the Eagle Bear is still better than the Bighorn, and now you're starting to see this explosion of Bighorn headshot damage, armor regen builds, and I'm like, was he crazy then, or is the content that we are covering, or I say we, the content creators are covering, are they turning? Is it hurting the masses like sheep? Because the Bighorn has always been there, the capacitor's always been there, the P416, even the FAMAS. Remember when the FAMAS first came out? And everybody was like, "Oh, it's so much better than the C-Tar or the F2000." And then there's this explosion in PvP where the FAMAS was the gun, and now nobody's rocking the FAMAS. But correct me if I'm wrong, it hasn't changed. They hadn't nerfed it at all. It's still the same gun, but how come nobody's running it? Just very curious. And I say all this because, like, there isn't a. I guess I'm a little confused because when I started my channel, it was just to be informative. You know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody to try anything out. If I put a bill out there, it's like, hey, give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, cool. You know, you got something to put into your inventory, and you can change it, do whatever you want to do to it. Like, for example, I tried the Bighorn bill, the whole armor regen Bighorn bill, and in my last video, I told y'all I'm gonna delete these because it's not my playstyle. That's the way it's supposed to be. You see somebody put something out there, give it a try. If it's not your playstyle, move on. As you can see, I'm running PvP with PvE with my PvP build. I like that build. It fits my playstyle. I like this entire build, and I may not be running it with the Catharsis. I'm just trying it with the Coyote's mask to see if I can increase the crit chance and crit damage. But I love this build, the Negotiated Dilemma. I got it in my inventory because I love that build. I'm not pushing anybody to try it. I'm just saying I'm being informative because the stuff that I'm putting out there, I actually do play with. I actually believe that they are good and they fit my playstyle, and that's the whole point of you know my channel. You know, there are other channels that do that on top of keeping you informed with Division 2 news. I personally won't do that because there's many other channels where you can get that information from. And, I'm not steering you away from them. Those are good channels. Like, there's a couple of YouTubers out there that gives you great Division 2 information, including, you know, up to and not and including Division 1 and potentially Division 3. So, if you want to go there, go right ahead. But what I'm saying is, right now, when did the capacitor explode? Like, when did the Bighorn explode? You know, there was an Ouroboros. Like, right now, even the Chatterbox and the Iron Lung is exploding, the Pestilence. But these guns have always been there. Don't get me wrong, the Pestilence, they buffed it. So, yeah, that's why that exploded. But when did these other guns explode? Like, when?
Reinforcements incoming.
Is it the fact that people are picking and choosing certain guns to cover for a couple of months and then come out with another build using a different gun saying, oh yeah, that one is OP too? Has it always been OP or was there something that changed?
Request.
I don't know. And I'm not going to sit up here and knock anybody for, doing what they're doing and covering what they're covering. It's just that I feel like if Identity was covering the capacitor for at least 3 years that I know of, what the hell was that? Really? Where'd you come from? Oh, Lord. They tried to set me up. Still trying to set me up. Jerk. No, you don't walk away.
Another one has joined the fallen.
But if Identity was covering the capacitor for years and is now blowing up, tell me what changed. Was it that new gear set that gave you the skill tier that made people start to realize that, hey, I can make a build out of that? Oh, the feet is behind me. Trying to set me up again. Maybe that was it. But the Bighorn has always been there too. So, I mean, you want to tell me that they buffed it by increasing the headshot damage to 6%? The headshot damage was always there in the Bighorn. The math in itself, remember, the Bighorn came with headshot damage. So it was there, just like the Eagle Bear came with headshot damage. It was there. So what made it the meta now? Like, why is it, or is it just content creators hurting the player base like sheep to the gun that they want to promote? I don't know. I tried the Bighorn. I didn't see the. Oh no, Tenacity's gonna kill me. Whew.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Is it what exactly is it that is making the content creators like? Are we being herded? Is what I'm saying. Are we being herded like sheep to choose which weapon they want to promote right now? Because once one does it, everybody does it. Because remember, I for the longest time was saying that when the Umbra Initiative came out, this was over a year ago, when the Umbra Initiative came out, my very first few builds was talking about Negotiated Dilemma and how OP the Umbra Initiative is. Now look what you see. You're starting to see an explosion a whole year and a half later of, oh, try this build with
Supply
the
room
Umbra.
access.
Is it
Found it.
because they increased the rate of fire from 30% to 40%? That's 10%. It's almost negligible. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's ridiculously strong. But I'm saying 30% to 40% isn't a huge difference for the Umbra. For rate of fire, it's huge, but for Umbra, it wasn't because 30 is still higher than Strikers. You know, Strikers gives you 15%. Umbra gives you twice that. You know, but now it gives you 40%. So, but I'm just saying, with the Umbra initiative, why is there a huge explosion in it? I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I caught it from day one. I got when I saw it in the beta. I think it was I forget who it was. Maybe it was nothing but skills. He was covering it during the beta, but I saw it and I was like, that if they stick with the way it was, I think it was 50% rate of fire and 100% heals. If they stick with it like that, like even if they nerf it just a little bit, it's still going to be overpowered.
Friendly
Negotiators, I
combatants
always loved it.
nearby.
So I wasn't hurting anybody. I was just saying that these bills are crazy. Like right now, I'm on the system corruption. I'm not pushing anybody to it, but give it a try. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just saying, give it a try. It's an old bill that's been there for a while. But why the capacitor now? Why the St. Elmo's back then? You know, right now it's the Bighorn. Why now? The Bighorn has always been here. Why the Chatterbox? Now, I even tried it with the new update, and I'm still not a fan. Um, Seriously, these shifts, like the FAMAS, I don't think I have my. I say I keep a CTAR in mind. The Kingbreaker at one point in time was huge. In the police M4, there was a meta for it for a minute. There was a shield splinter meta. The guns have always been here. There has not been a tactical MK16 meta. I feel like that's coming next. There was an RPK meta. It shotguns. Like now, it just seems to me like if the guns have always been here,
Friendly combatants detected.
what is creating these metas? And it's weird, and I keep repeating myself, and I hate doing it that way, but it I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. If what is it? Was it Einstein's cosmological constants where people were sitting there saying that he was crazy, and then eventually he was proven right? Um, his theory in the cosmological constants, that's a higher level. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just saying, is it one of those situations where the information just wasn't provided, or is it the fact that people are pushing what they want just to save on content? Because me, I'm out here testing. I'm testing and retesting builds. I stick with one, and I'm what they call an ADS or a DPS or whatever you want to call it, is because I enjoy
Friendly combatants
just
nearby.
that. I don't do skill builds. So if you want a skill build, go to um, identities page or anybody else who covers skill builds. I don't. I try to find the best way to maximize the DPS. One where I can pull out where you can pull out your weapon.
Relax.
You just sitting there the whole time. Okay. You can just pull out your weapon and shoot. I mean, I feel like that's the basis of the game. It's a looter shooter, not a looter skiller. What is going on? I know you heard him say get him, but that's me. I like looter shooters. I like pulling out my gun. Like my original shooter game was Tomb Raider. Um, when they did the PvP as well, then it moved on to Uncharted, to The Last of Us, to now here we're here at the Division. But if that's the case, seriously, I'm not knocking any other content creator out there. I'm really not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out what is creating these metas. Uh, who is creating these builds that everybody ends up diving into like the PvP aspect or the PvE aspect. Like,
Friendly combatants detected.
is it really the most effective tactical advantage, or is it just the fact that the builds that are being created are creating the meta itself? They're restricting diversity? I don't know. Like, when Heartbreakers was a thing, the skill build still could have, a hazard protection pulse resistance build could have nullified Heartbreakers, but for the longest time, it was meta. Is it is it the fact that everybody's running it that restricts diversity, or the keeping people from experimenting with different weapons? I have, what is that, flatline on that one. I also have one with Optimus. I have different guns that I am trying different talents on. As you can see, Boomerang. Everybody came out and said the ACRSS was the best gun to use as a rifle in this new auto rifle meta, which is not really a meta because in PvP they suck. But honestly, I was testing out the rifles, and when it first happened, and Boomerang in my mind was it, just because it gives you that 50% chance to return the bullet and give you a 40% weapon damage. That was a
Friendly
given.
combatants
You can put
nearby.
rifleman on it if you're good with headshots. You can put flatline on it. You can put um, breadbasket. You can put whatever you want to put on it. The question is does it fit your playstyle? Because sometimes the meta in itself does not fit your playstyle, so therefore it stops being your most efficient or effective tactical advantage. The the armor regen build wasn't my most effective tactical advantage because it didn't fit my playstyle. The system corruption build may not fit your playstyle, so therefore it's not the build for you. So I'm not going to push it on to you. Negotiated dilemma may not be the build for you. Strikers may not be the build for you. Who knows? There is no such thing as a meta in these games because the tactical advantage changes and it is very fluid in this game. Just because the brand sets and gear sets change, but the real question is why are the weapons and the gear sets themselves be,
Take some of this shit!
being promoted as the meta
Okay,
in
help! They're incoming!
in waves the way that they are with different guns that they have existed in the game from the moment they came out? Why is it changing the now? Like, why is the capacitor the meta now? Why
Hostile
is the
control point
bighorn the meta
identified.
now? Is it what the devs are doing, or is it actually content creators herding the players like sheep into playing this particular weapon at this time? I don't know. And I'm not doing this for clickbait. I'm just doing this for and literally asking you the question, the viewers, the players. Do you feel like sheep when you go in and you play these meta builds? Like, remember when Adrenaline Rush Intimidate was the thing? Still got that build. It's crazy, you know. But, like I said, I wasn't going to try to make this video too long. I'm already at 18, 19 minutes, so I'm going to cut it right here. I'm not, I'm not calling out any other content creator. I'm not, trying to make it, trying to rock the boat. I'm genuinely curious. So, you know, leave a comment, if you can. Let me know what your thoughts on it is because there are so many variables. I'm just trying to figure out what makes one thing become the meta. And what are your thoughts on what made it become the meta and why you chose to run it? It's your boy Trade 8381. Y'all take it easy.